Yo, 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 what it be like, my peoples? Happy Wednesday. This is a timeless edition of Talking Tarot. It's been a minute. Y'all know I do not wait for people to come in the building. If you don't see this live, you will see it on YouTube because that is where it will be available. So I have a special guest coming in with me today. Her name is Lunar Pheonix. Her actual name is Kimberly Nichols. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her on YouTube, and you can also find her on TikTok and on IG right here. So I'm gonna get us started, and I'm gonna pull our first tarot card, and then I'm gonna join her in on the live and talk on Talking Tarot. And Lunar Pheonix is going to tell us a lot about herself and how she even got started in doing tarot. All right, so let's get started first with the energy of the day. Sacred ancestors, gods of cosmos calling, and a quantum energy for Talking Tarot to guide us with the energies that will be pulled in for the day by the power of the universe. Give us guidance and clarity for today's energy. And you have the Four of Pentacles. Okay, the Four of Pentacles is about starting a strong foundation. It's also about holding on to things. It's also about saving. It's also about learning how to balance things in your life. Okay, so I'm going to pull Kimberly in as well so that we can get started for the day and see exactly where this energy is going to take us. Okay, so we got the Four of Pentacles as the overall energy also, and the Eight of Swords as the top on the top of the deck, and then we have the Star on the bottom of the deck. So this tells me also this is also about a change of mentality, change of a belief system, things that you shift directions in with the Star energy, purging and releasing, healing, also about hopes, dreams, and wishes, things that you desire to do with your life. So Kimberly, I'm getting ready to bring you on right now, and we getting ready to get started and do this. Boom. My queen, my empress, my queen. Miss Lunar Pheonix is in the building, y'all. How you doing, sis?
I'm well. How are you?
I am not complaining. Happy that you were able to join and we was able to do this thing, this live Talking Tarot today. So hopefully we can, spread some sort of consciousness to those that may see the video. Let he who hear has an ear. Let he who listen who has an ear be able to get what the message is that we are here to convey. So the energy that I pulled for our Talking Tarot was the Four of Pentacles, with the Eight of Swords being on top and the Star being on the bottom. All right, so we're going to navigate this thing according to your energy. So tell us how you got started doing your tarot readings and stuff like that. Tell us something about yourself.
Got started doing tarot readings. It's been about 3 or 4 years ago. I got a call to unplug from traditional church. And I went in to get a reading from myself from another reader. And she was like, you have gifts that you're using, but you need a way of discernment. And I had a friend at the time that was reading, and she gave me my first deck of tarot cards. And at first I was going through the thing of trying to read the book and do things like that. And she was like, forget the book. Go by what the pictures tell you and go from there. And so that's how I read now. Is I do my readings, and all my readings now may not necessarily line up what other people say or what the book says that the cards mean, but I go by what the pictures tell me and what they say to me and what I get from spirit. Is more relying on that so for me, with the cards, I use them more so because that's how people are more apt to receive messages, are more willing to receive the message versus me saying X, Y, Z, this is going to happen this way. But with the cards, they're more apt to listen and receive what you're saying. Why? Because that's how people are.
So let me go back for a second. Now, you said that you started doing tarot from a church member?
No, not from a church member, from a friend of mine. After I unplugged from church, I got a
Oh,
reading.
after you unplug. Okay, now let me ask you a question about that. What was it that inspired you or motivated you to pull away from church or unplug? Explain that. What do you mean by unplug?
I would say for the last 20 years, you know, I've been active in several different churches. I've been ordained 3 times as a minister. And my issue is when I go into churches is I can see different spirits that sit on different people. And when you go into the church, you know, you may sit in there, you be looking, you be like, okay, Lord, I see this, but why are you showing it to me? Because I'm not in a position to speak about it. So I started praying about what I was seeing and things like that. And it just kept going on. And so, you know, last church, I really don't have anything against the people. I think they're just doing what they know to do, don't know any better, or, you know, that's just the way they have been doing things forever and a day.
Right.
I did have an issue with what I call when they would bring in other preachers, and to me, they were like fleecing the flock. You know, they didn't do it, but they have somebody else come in and start these money lines and things like that. And this was in a neighborhood that was cash poor, you know, mostly in Atlanta, and you know, it kind of bothered me a little bit. But that's how they chose to do things. And I had certain friends that were, you know, because I was praise team, intercessory prayer, you know, very much involved in the process of church and, you know, being there. So I would have a friend say, so is Pastor so-and-so there today? If he's there, I'm not coming. You know, because that was the vibe, because it was like this particular person will always come in and, you know, you already knew the drill. You know, they want $100 line, $50 line, or whatever.
And this was every week or every day?
It wasn't every day. It wasn't every Sunday, but at least one Sunday out of the month, or maybe 2, 3, you know, it may be 2 months and then he'll come cycle through and things like that. But that bothered me. And then it bothered me that things would go on, and as leaders, you know, I would see they have these nasty dispositions, ugly dispositions, but they're the leaders. And I don't know what happened to them, because I love these people dearly. They were like my mom and my daddy. You understand what I'm saying? And I never spoke to them about it. I just, that was their thing. You know, you just let people be who they are, because, you know, speaking upon it, me, you know, in their eyes, I was not someone in authority to tell them, hey, you know, it's not coming across good. And I don't think they would have cared. And the weirdest thing about it, though, is when I unplugged, I dreamed that I told them I ain't never coming back to them. You know, I told them in the dream, and they never called to see how I was doing. They never called to see why I didn't come. You know, they never called to see what was going on. And I had a lot of other things going on at the time, you know, but never got a phone call, not one. And with that, I was like, okay, well, to me, that says they didn't value the person, the family. You know, it wasn't about that. It was about what benefited them, you know, and things like that. However it may be. I'm not talking bad about them, but it's just my perception of what I saw going on at the time.
Right.
You know, so.
And you have every right to speak about that. That's what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I wanted to open up a platform to give people to be able to express their feelings about what their transition has been like, or what their experiences has been like. You know, when they get in the game of what we do, the tarot readings, you know, people hold their beliefs, their core beliefs to their heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this Four of Pentacles is about endearment as well. So this can apply to, you know, your core beliefs. This can apply to a lot of things. So in this case, you know, there were things that, you know, you held dear to you. You had an expectation because of who these people were. So
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing wrong with you expressing how you did not receive what you were there to get from, you know, that part of your life. Because this is what makes a lot of us sort of speak unplug. I like the way you phrase that when you say unplug, because unplugging something means that you're no longer receiving that energy and you're no
Right.
longer pouring energy
Right.
into it. So
Yep.
when you unplug your energy from your religious beliefs, what did you shift your energy to? What did your energy go to?
I
What
went to
became
what
your core belief system at that point?
I went to what came natural. I went to following what I was led to do, what spirit led me to do. And in that reading that I received, when they told me that I needed to find a way of discernment, they said also you got to figure out how you're going to be okay with walking on this new path because of how you were brought up, how you've lived all your life, you know, what you were taught to believe, and what you're about to discover. And so back then, everybody was on this thing about, oh, you got to get right with God, you got to get right with God, you know, yada, yada, yada. So my
Right.
thing was, okay, if God's in me and I got to get right with the God that's in me, I got to be okay with me because I'm a person that I'm very big on integrity. You know,
I'll shade of that.
I'm going to say what I'm going to say. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I can't do it, I'm going to tell you, hey, I know I told you I was going to do X, Y, Z, but now the circumstances have changed and I'm not able to fulfill what I told you I was going to fulfill for you.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm a believer in that. I ain't going to tell you no lie. You know, I'd rather you get pissed off with me, not like me, fall out with me or whatever, and stop speaking to me before I lie to you about anything, you know, and it ain't got to be spiritual. But if you come and ask me some stuff, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is,
Right.
you know, and be done with it. And because I learned, well, my lesson was when I did my time and had to go through the things that I went through before I got to this point. And Spirit told me to turn myself in because I had several warrants. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm making X amount of dollars. You know, me and the kids are good. And I don't need to do that. I'm not doing it. And this is how I talk with Spirit or God, how you'd identify. This is how we talk, like you and I talk. So it's just a real conversation. What? You crazy? I'm doing all this stuff now and everything is going this way. And you want me to do what? I'm not doing that.
Right.
Oh, okay. And so over the next 6 months after we had that conversation, began to strip me. Strip me of job, strip me of money. And the most weirdest thing was when he stripped me of my freedom. That morning I had gone on an interview because he stripped me of my job. I was working for my grandmother, taking care of my great grandmother, and we came to the parting of ways because of disagreements. And I went on the interview, stopped at the kid's godmother's house, and mind you, in Atlanta, her house set up on a hill.
Right.
And at the bottom of the hill, everybody know what Pryor Road is in Atlanta. It's a very busy street, period, point blank. Right. And the kid's father had just fixed my brakes the day before on this car. Mm-hmm. When I got in that car and crunked that car went straight down that hill through oncoming traffic.
Damn.
When the car stopped, the only thing between the car and me and a brick wall was a wooden fence.
Wow. That's kind of like a paranormal experience, would you say?
Huh?
That's kind of like a paranormal experience.
Yeah, so when I got out the car, I'm like, okay. I'm calling my friends, like, I need to get home to the kids, whatever. Okay, I got you. I'll take you home. They sent someone to pick me up. We on 285. Tire blows out the car. So we on the highway, and we end up at the gas station in Fulton County. You know, car broke down and everything. So the sheriff's like, you know, it's customary that everybody that's in the car, we check their identification.
Right.
So when they ran my name, ma'am, you got to go with us. And
all this in one day?
Huh?
All this happened. Wow.
So went to jail, went through the system and everything, because in the state of Georgia, if you're away from your children over 18 months, you lose your rights.
What? I never knew that.
So within that time, I went through 3 counties, because one county I was waiting for trial on a case that I had never shown up for. The other county I was waiting for probation, because I had been on probation and never reported, never done nothing with it. And the third county was because my kids had been placed in DFAS custody because I was incarcerated, and their father was found not to be fit to take care for them. And I sat and I wrote a letter to the judge requesting that my children be placed with my best friend's mom. And because of how I had written the letter, the judge wanted to lay eyes on me. Right. I've never had someone be so bold as to write a letter, never had someone write a letter so eloquently and well put. I just had to see who you were and look at you.
Now, while you was going through all of this, were you still affiliated with your church at this time?
At this time, yeah.
And none of them was supportive of what you were going through?
Happened, you know, he did come see me in Cobb County, because I was in Cobb County. And then my grandmother, I love her, God bless her, now she's gone. She told them she didn't know nothing about it. She didn't know none of what was going on. And I told them, I said, my car was registered in her name because she knew I had the warrants. You know.
Wow. But she denied.
Yeah, but she denied all knowledge. She know nothing.
So now all this that's going on, are those some of the things also that kind of started pushing you away from your church and your belief system with that?
Pushed me away. What pushed me away was when I came back years later, and I had been through another church, to a church in Macon, and that pastor ended up going to federal prison. It was like I'm like, Lord, why you keep sending me to all these different churches? Every church I come to, it's some corruption going on. There's something wrong. It's, you know, and it's not the people. It was in the pulpit. But
right.
People
the leaders.
Understand, whatever you sit up under, it trickles down to the body.
Yep.
So if you're in the church and the pastor is having financial issues, you're going to have financial issues.
Because they're going to put that pressure on you, right?
You should prosper.
Right.
That's how, it's association. It trickles down. But when this came about, it was like, for whatever reason, every time, like I would go up, I wouldn't go up often for prayer, but every time I would go up, the last 2 or 3 times I would go up, he would always ask someone else to pray for me. He wouldn't do it. And I was like, why do you keep having all these outside people praying for me? I'm coming to you. You my leader. I don't want these folks. Because he knew how I was. I'm real funny, and I'm still funny today. There's certain things I don't do. I'm not going to be in a place.
You don't want everybody touching you. Yeah.
And so with that, and then that's when the call was like, okay, just unplug. And it was so strong. I said, you want me to unplug? Because I was still trying to go to church. I was, and it was just like, it was like unplug, just break ties. And that's what I did.
Right. So now when you did disconnect from that, what changes did you see versus to where you were when you were plugged in to it, when you were plugged into your church, which is this 8 of Swords energy and this 4 of Pentacles.
Yeah, in your mind, I was trapped up in my mind, but once I come out of that, my whole world opened up.
This is that star energy,
yeah,
Aquarian energy.
Opened
This
up,
is on the bottom deck.
Everything shifted, everything changed. You know, things started, you know, I was having issues, but things got better.
Now, let me ask you this, because as I took off your first two, the 8 of Swords, the Hierophant slapped me dead in my face. What type of spiritual guidance were you seeking at this moment? What started to guide you spiritually once you unplugged from these things right here, which is your religious beliefs, and you freed yourself from that? You purged and released that. Mm-hmm. So what was it? What was it that was guiding you spiritually at this point?
At this point, it was total spirit. It was total spirit.
Okay.
You know, it was like, okay, what you want me to do, how you want me to do it. And spirit would guide me to do things, you know, even with rituals and things like that. It would tell me, well, you need to get this candle. You need to put this with this and this with that.
Right.
And do
so you were kind of being, so were you hearing, what was your paranormal experiences once you left the church and you started to allow your higher guidance, your higher self, your own spiritual guides, or whatever you call, you know, your guidance to lead you?
I call them a team. You know, back then I didn't know what to call them. I just knew
that
this is what I was supposed to do. And it's just a prompting, you know, do this, do that. Don't do this, don't go here. And it was that type of deal, you know, and even down to it with my job, you know, I began working on myself in that way because I used to be very arrogant, very hateful, mean ass person.
Now, let me ask you something. What do you think made you be that person? What was it that you felt like may have been contributing to that energy?
It was my life, you know. I'm a recovered drug addict. So life has not always been kind to me. You know, the way I was raised, you know, my grandmother, my dad's mom, my father was in the military, so after me and my mom we had differences. Her and her husband, you know, there were some things that went on, and I lived with my grandma, but she was hard. You understand what I'm saying? And it wasn't to make you feel bad, but she would say some shit to you, you know, and, you know, this is how you do these things, and this is how you live, this is how you handle stuff.
Yeah.
And she might cuss you out, but it wasn't, you know, people call that abuse today, but it made you think, you know, it was certain things that she would, you know, say to you, you know, to make, you know, and it was just common sense stuff though, you know. Don't leave, you know, when you leave here, you're going to know how to clean up and cook if you never do another day in your life. That's what she would tell me all day, every day.
Right.
You know, so, you know, and that kind of spilled over to when I started raising my kids, you know, it was, you know, by me being a single parent, I had to be hard. And I understood why she would tell me things. And I was like, well, Grandma, I don't understand this. I don't understand it. She would say, just keep living. Keep living, and the understanding is going to come. You know, that's all she'd tell you. And, you know, a lot of stuff that she used to say back then I didn't understand, but I understand it now. I see it now. You understand? Because, you know, one thing was seldom visits make long friendships. And the first thing I understand that, you be around friends and you spend your time every day with these people. After a while, you get tired of these folks and y'all have a falling out.
Yeah.
But if you only see your friends few and far in between, every time they see you or you see them, they glad to see you because you ain't seen them every day.
That space has been put, yeah. So,
right, you know,
let me ask you this. When you started to get into your tarot and stuff like that, how did that change the dynamics of your life? The dynamics of your own energy? How did that change you? What was the quality, the difference of the quality of your life? Was there a difference for you?
I had more confidence about myself. It gave me more confidence.
Now, what was it that gave you that confidence versus, you know, going in your beliefs versus you know, finding your own path, your own spiritual purpose, your own divine walk? What
What
was
gave
it
me
that
that
gave you
confidence
confidence?
was, you know, even though I was doing intercessory prayer when I was in the church, and usually whatever I prayed about or interceded about, it was spoken of through the word. But the difference was this stuff was coming directly from me. You understand? Once I made that unplug, and I would pull cards on somebody, and they said, well, you know, you told me this, this, and this, and it happened just like you said it was going to happen. You know, and or I can get up and say, this is going to happen today at work. You know, it was like they were already telling me what my day was going to be like. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I would get up with different songs, you know, in the morning. So whatever song that was in my head or playing in my ears in the morning will tell me the tone for my day and what I, you know, if I need to be prepared for some stuff or, you know, whatever it is. And I still get up with songs
Right.
every morning, just about, you know, whatever it is, you know, whatever the vibe is, that's, you know, that's what I get up with.
So you would say that became your spiritual guidance, your higher consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
which is part of the star energy, Aquarian energy,
Right.
and the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. So this became part of, you know, your daily spiritual guidance of listening to your higher consciousness, telling you things that you started to have synchronicities to, or some sort of resonation with, as far
Right.
as songs and stuff. So now let me ask you, when you were in religion and you listened to your gospel music, that didn't do that for you?
It did. I can't, you
Okay.
know, I'm not gonna
What
lie and say
was
that it
the
didn't. It
difference?
did, but you know, and sometimes I still get those songs. It just depends on what's going on. You know,
Right.
music to me, all genres or whatever, is like an arsenal for me. You
Yeah.
know, you understand what I'm saying? You know, I might get
Mm-hmm.
up with Mary J. or Lil Jon or I might feel some Outcast, or I might feel Ty Tribbett or Tasha Cobb.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
But whatever it is, that's my arsenal. That's what gets me locked and loaded and say, okay, this is what you need for this day.
That's your eye opener. Now let me ask you, have you ever had any, because a lot of people assume that what we do, it brings in evil spirits or evil energy or bad energy. Have you ever experienced any of that? From walking away from religion to coming into your own enlightenment, have you ever experienced any demons attacking you or bad energies attacking? You know, have you experienced that yourself, being the person that you are now, which is the spiritual advisor?
I
You know,
have, but it's not a result of the tarot. It's not a result of that. It's what it is, because what people don't understand, when you operate in the spiritual realm, your name becomes known.
that's
And
right.
they know, demons know me. You know, I have dispatched entities. I have sent them on their way. And there have been cases that I have done where I'm in the person's house clearing and doing clearings, and they'll call and say, did you just see that go out the door? I said, no, I didn't see it. But they catch it on camera when it leaves. It's been caught.
Yeah.
You know, so that's evidence. You know, so if I was the demonic, I can't run something else out demonic. We be in there having a party.
Because Satan can't stand against his own kingdom, right? And
Right.
the Bible tells you that.
Yeah.
You know, you get so many people that have these ideas, like even on Facebook, right? I've been seeing people sponsor videos talking about, I used to be a psychic medium and I was getting the worst demonic, satanic attack. And I just be looking at these damn people like, what type of psychedelic drugs was you
I
taking?
am online.
And I look at these people like, what kind of drugs was you taking? Because there's no such thing as I used to be a psychic medium. If that's what you are, you can't turn that on and off. You know what I'm saying? Uh-oh, let me do this second.
Go ahead.
You good.
She
Yeah.
good.
So there's no such thing as saying I used to be a psychic medium. Either that's what you are or that's what you're not. But people do shit to enhance these qualities, like do drugs. They burn, they do all play with all these different herbs, play with these different spells because they want to be a seer. You see what I'm saying? They want to have
and I'm not
that.
I don't smoke weed. I may take a puff every blue moon.
But see that even if you did smoke weed, that's
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about weed.
No, but I'm just saying I don't take any type of drugs. I'm not on any type of pills or medication or anything. Everything that I come with is all natural. You know, there is no.
But you've always been a seer. And you quoted that early on in the Talking Tarot video when you said, even when you sat in church, you saw. We've been going through this right here. When you was in mental bondage, even when you was holding on to beliefs that had you stuck in a certain area in your life, you still was able to see. Because you can't turn that on and off. See, and people, they try to make this stuff seem like anybody, you know, it's just, everybody does have an ability. Don't get me wrong, because we're all created with that. We're all in the flesh with that. We're all ancient energy, ancient wisdom. But when something is your destiny, that becomes a whole nother ball game. You see what I'm saying? There's people that can see, but that's not their walk. That's not their destiny. So it doesn't affect them the same way that it does certain people. But for these people to go on there saying, yeah, I used to be a psychic medium. And when I was a psychic medium, that is opening the door for demons to come in. Go back to God, go to church. Jesus Christ is the only way. And I'll be looking at these people like they sick, because I'm just like, this is some sick shit. You cannot turn this on and off when you feel like it. No, it don't work like that.
Even in addiction, it didn't cut off.
That's my point.
My addiction, I still saw.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. It didn't matter how high I was. I would still see stuff, and I was getting high because I didn't want to see.
That's my point, sis. You was running from it. You was running from it. You was trying to block it out. You was trying to, let me tell you something. When I was going through my awakening, I was doing the same thing. I wasn't getting high, but I was drinking. And I would smoke Black and Milds because I ain't want to. When I started hearing voices, I thought I had demons on me listening to my beliefs. So I used to be stuck in this Four of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords energy too. And it drove my ass plumb loco. Okay? Drove me freaking nuts, right? Okay? I didn't know what I was coming to and going some days. Okay? But when I freed myself from that and I allowed my ancestors' voice, the voices of my ancestors to come in, and I released all those foolish, fictitious beliefs that I was holding on to, I freed that. So now I'm at a place in my life now where I can embrace that freedom, that spiritual freedom that I have. I can embrace that. And now I can help other people embrace it. So this is the path that you're now on. But it kills me to hear people talk about this stuff. You know, like, I used to be a doctor. And, like, you can't get no degree.
No, but see, that's lying because, you know, frankincense and myrrh was burned in the temple of God to attract the Holy Spirit in. They burned incense and things like that to draw the Spirit, because the Spirit, if you don't smell right, he ain't coming near you.
Right.
It ain't gonna happen. You know, if your house is not clean, he ain't coming. You know,
that's right.
It's certain conditions, you know, period, for a spirit to come in and for your ancestors to communicate. There's certain things that you got to do, certain things that you have to do in order.
There's a science to it. And people don't get that. It's a science to it. In order for it to become active, you know, and for you to see the results that you want to see. Now, when you, have you ever had any paranormal experiences outside of that one you explained in the car since you've been unplugged from religion? Have any other portals or anything opened up to you and revealed itself to you?
No, you know, well, we talked about it. We talked about the dream with the eclipse and being, you know, held down and things like that. You know, stuff comes. Stuff still comes. things still, you know, but it's how I deal with it now. I used to cower away from it, and that last experience kind of shook me up because I've never had anything be so bold.
Yeah, yeah. That's it's a wonderful thing. And you can sometimes you gotta watch your dialect. Because I was about to say that's crazy, but that ain't crazy. That's a wonderful experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because now your mind is open to wonder instead of being held bound by beliefs. So that's a beautiful thing to embrace. So I appreciate you even coming on here to share any of your experiences, because I think you're a hell of a reader. So if anybody need a reading, y'all better get at Lunar Pheonix. This girl is the truth. I'm trying to tell you. It's not a lot of readers that I've crossed paths with that is authentic like that. And you are pretty much one of the best out here to do what you do. You know, it's natural, it's authentic, and that's why we connected like we did. So I appreciate that. But tell the people that where they can find you, everything you got going on, and the name of your pages, and how to connect with you for a reading if they need one.
You can catch the daily podcast, which is Lunar Pheonix Says, on Anchor and Spotify. And I give you the daily card and a little nugget to go along with it throughout the week. On Sundays, you get a little bit more. You get a weekly reading for the collective as well, in addition to the card and the nugget. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm also on WhatsApp as well. I've also started a clubhouse. So when I'm live on Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 9 p.m., when it ends at 10:05, I'm on Clubhouse, and you can meet me there if you missed the live and still get your readings. And we talk about different things, different subjects, or whatever. It's an open forum. And it's, it's not just about getting a reading. If you need some help with some things, and I always, in those conversations, if you have conversations with me, I'll give you little nuggets about things that you can apply to your life. It may be an oil you need or a herb that you need or things like that. And, you don't know it until you have a conversation with someone. I also offer a 28-day challenge, and it's called the Become a Magician in Your Life. And I call it that because in tarot, the magician is equipped with everything he or she needs to make it in life. So with this, you become more self-aware of who you are, the conversations you're having with yourself and others. It helps you with cleansings, how to do them, the proper times to do them, things of that nature, what to say when you're cleansing your home. Also, it entails, how to keep your vibrations high. So we talk about frequencies. We talk about your drinking, different beverages. We talk about the clothing that you wear. We talk about the foods that you take in. And things of that nature. So it's a plethora of platforms. I don't know if I hit them all, but I think I did. YouTube.
Don't forget, did you mention your TikTok?
And the TikTok. I talked about TikTok. And
then let them know how to spell your name so they can find you.
And Lunar Pheonix is spelled LUNARPHEONIX.
Y'all get that? Because it's not spelled the traditional way that Phoenix is spelled. Tell them one more time, sis, how to spell it.
Lunar Pheonix is spelled LUNARPHEONIX.
Y'all heard it, right? Y'all get at her for a reading. Follow her Instagram. Follow her Facebook. Go like her business page. Get with her on TikTok. And make sure y'all tune in to our next live when we do our little teamwork here. Shout out to the Groundings team as well. Ashley and Artoon. I can't leave y'all out. I love y'all to death. As well. Thank you so much, Kim, for being so transparent, sharing your experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly. We need people like you to really help other people understand that no matter what kind of turmoil you're going through within, no matter where you feel stuck at in your life, you don't have to stay there. There is a way out.
It's a
way out.
How you deal with it, how you respond.
That's right. And you were not afraid to unplug from traditional beliefs. You did that, and you found your way. You found your path. You were able to cleanse yourself. You were able to start your healing process. Now you're on a spiritual journey. And you feel a lot more free. You have a lot more confidence. And the journey never ends.
No.
Journeys don't end. They go on and on and on and on. So it's never, you never ever get too tired. You never ever get enough. You never learn. It's you don't graduate. Put it that way. Right. We don't graduate. It's a constant thing, day to day to day to day.
You got to keep a notebook. If you don't have a notebook,
yes,
you got to write the stuff down because you may be anywhere and something hit you. You better write it down.
Yep. Paying attention to when the universe is speaking to you. That's that spiritual guide. That's that inner voice that you hear. Okay? Sometimes we see numbers. Sometimes we see color frequencies. Sometimes we hear songs like she mentioned earlier. Sometimes we'll see certain things that just, and a lot of times we overlook that. Those are synchronicities. Those are messages, y'all. Listen to your higher self. So sis, why don't you leave us, take us out with a spread, with a card, with an energy so that we can close this out and move on to the next best thing today. I need to go get my ballroom now. Hey, living single. Hey.
I just grabbed the deck that was close to me, which is the moon card. So, whew. It says, hold your vision. So whatever your vision you have for your life, hold on to it and don't let it go. Also, some of you are dealing with some things and conclusions are within reach. So know that whatever you're working towards, the end is near for that. And lastly, it's time to take time to breathe out. Enjoy life. Life is too great to sit around and not enjoy it. Live your life.
Y'all check it out, because that's what she finna do. Hey. She about to go get her ballroom on, baby. Feeling single? Hey. How David Ruffin say, even the bees can be me. Hey. I gotta tell y'all some damn fun. Don't be sitting around worrying about no problems. Let me tell you something. Because the only problems that exist is the ones in your mind.
Right.
We got to change all of that right here. Y'all heard it first on Talking Tarot with your host, Nairi Sanchez, a.k.a. the Nocturnal Seer. Y'all know what to do if y'all want a personal reading for me. Holla at your girl. Y'all know what to do if y'all need a personal reading for my girl, Kim. Holla at your girl. If it's major, hit us on our pager. And I'm telling my age, but it's all good because we fine like wine. On that note, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in to Talking Tarot. And we'll see y'all on the next edition. On that note, we out. Peace.
Peace.